Hi everyone, it's Jeff here from Avada. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the container and column background options. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with all the latest videos like this one. And if you don't want to miss one, click the bell icon to get notifications of all new videos on our channel. Okay, let's begin. To get a good overview on the container and column elements as a whole, please see the how to use the container and column element videos respectively, both linked below. But in this video, we are just going to focus on the background tab found on both the container and column elements. Both elements share 4 background tabs, while the container element has a further 3. For this example, I'm going to start on the craft beer pre-built on a new page using the default 100% width template and a container with a 1:1 column. I'm going to look at the options on the container element, but the column element has the same options on the 4 background tabs it shares with containers, which are color, gradient, image, and slider. The background tab for containers makes it clear that containers themselves can be much more than just invisible holding elements. Here there are 7 tabs for container backgrounds: color, gradient, image, slider, video, pattern, and mask. Let's take a look at each one, as there are just so many cool features in here. So containers can have a background color, either solid or with opacity, a very flexible gradient background, a background image, a slider with multiple images, a video background, either self-hosted or on Vimeo or YouTube, or a combination of effects, and even the ability to add a pattern or a mask on top of other backgrounds. There are a lot of options. Now before I start, containers have no native height without content in them, even with a background image. So let's just force this container's height with a minimum height of 430 pixels. For background color, there is just one option, and here you can choose a color from the color picker with an opacity slider, or from the global color palette. I'll just add color 6 as the background color here, and the effect is as you would expect, a container with a solid block of color. As mentioned, you can also combine a number of effects. With transparency and blending mode, you can combine container background effects. For example, you might want to overlay a background color or a gradient on top of a background image, or even a video. If you have a solid color and a background image, for example, the color will be behind the background image, and you won't see it initially, unless of course there is also opacity in the image, in which case the background color will show through. I'll just quickly show a couple of examples of this to demonstrate. First up, I'll leave the color fully opaque, and I will add a background image that has some transparency in it. This one here. So now we can see we have an empty container combining a background color and background image with transparency. I'll just remove this image and add a different one. This has no transparency, and so we can't see the color underneath. But now I have added a background image, there are further options on this tab, and the last one is called background blend mode. I'll choose from one of these. For this example, I might choose luminosity. Blending modes change how the layers interact with each other, and there is a large range of blending modes to choose from. You can also introduce opacity into the color to change the effect. If you have chosen a global color, just open the global color options panel, and there are hue, saturation, luminance, and alpha channel fields to change the color. If you have used the color picker, you can control the opacity with the slider. For this, I'll just set this back to color 6 and set -40 in the alpha channel, reducing the color effect somewhat. Okay, let's just remove this background color, and on the image tab, I'll also disable the blending mode. And now let's look at the gradient tab. This tab has a range of options to control the gradient colors, type, and angle. The first two are gradient start color and gradient end color. Again, you can choose from colors from the color picker or the global color palette, and you can also use the blending modes as well. I'll just set 2 solid colors to start, and as you can see, when I add the first one, the gradient from one color to transparent acts as an overlay over the image, but when I add the second color, it creates a solid gradient, completely hiding the background image underneath. You can blend gradient backgrounds with images in a few ways. We could reduce the opacity of one or more of these gradient colors, and the image would then show through just in that color. Alternatively, you could use a blending mode in the same way as I did with the background color, and the image would equally show through both colors. Theoretically, you could even use a combination of both. So many possibilities. Okay, the next 2 options are the gradient start and end positions. With the starting positions of 0 and 100, we have the smoothest gradient possible, but these positions can of course be swapped or changed. To help you understand how gradients work, I will just set the gradient angle down the bottom here to 90 and both start and end positions to 50. Now because there is no overlap, there is no gradient. If I decrease the gradient start position to 25 and increase the gradient end position to 75, we again create a gradient, but this time it's a quicker blend. Make sure you experiment with these sliders to see all the possible combinations. If I now introduce some transparency into one of these colors, we can again see the background image start to show through on that side. That's a cool effect. The next option is for the gradient type. The choices are linear and radial. While it's linear, the option below is gradient angle, and here you can control the gradient's angle in a full 360 degrees. If I change the gradient type to radial, the option below changes to radial direction, and here you have a huge range of choices. Okay, let's just remove our gradient colors here and move back to the Image tab. This is relatively straightforward, and yet there are a wealth of options here as well. I already have a background image here, and under this the first option is Skip Lazy Loading. This should be set to yes if the image in question is in the viewport initially when the page loads. The next option is Background Position. This controls the position of the background image, as depending on the size of the container or screen or the image itself, it's not always that you can see the entire image. Again, you can select from a range of positions. In this case, because of the minimum height I applied to the container, I can see the full height of the image. So if I change this to center bottom, for example, we see no difference. But if I change it to right center, the image is realigned from that starting point. The next option is Background Repeat. This is typically used to tile a small image with options for no repeat, repeat vertically and horizontally, repeat horizontally and repeat vertically. There's also an option called Background Size. With this you can manipulate the size of the background image. Cover is the default, but if we select Contain, we see the full width of the image. And we can also choose Custom and add any size we want, such as a percentage or a pixel value. I'll set this back to default. Then there is a cool fading animation effect, and when enabled, the background image fades and blurs as you scroll. I can't scroll very far here as I don't have much content, but here's the Our Story page with the effect turned on. Check it out, it's a cool effect. Okay, speaking of cool effects, the next option is Background Parallax, and this also offers several options. No parallax is the default, but there is also fixed, up, down, left and right. Let's choose left. With that selected, there is an option to enable or disable parallax on mobile and a parallax speed control to choose how fast the movement occurs. I'll speed this up to 0.9. So now, as I scroll, you can see the image starts to slide across the screen. Okay, the last option in the Background Image tab is Background Blend Mode. As we have already seen, this controls how the background image layer interacts with the other layers. It's disabled by default, but there are 15 blend modes to choose from. This is exactly the same function as in graphic design programs like Photoshop. Have a play with these to familiarize yourself with the different blend modes. There is also a huge amount of information on blend modes available on the internet. Okay, the next tab is called Slider. This background tab allows you to add multiple images to the background of your container or column, thereby making a simple slider. For this example, I'll just head again to the Our Story page and the full height hero container at the top here. I'll just edit the container and go to the Background Image tab and remove this image. Now I'll move to the Slider tab and add a couple of images instead. I'll start by selecting my images here. To make a selection, just hold down the Control key on Windows or the Command key on Mac and select your images. I will select the original one and then this one. So that way the container looks the same initially, and then it updates to the street shot. Yeah, I like that. What's important here is that you select appropriately sized images for the space you are adding them to. This is a full width and full height container, so to avoid pixelation you want images that are going to fill that space. You can remove from your selection here by clicking on the X, or you can click on Select Images again to add more images to your selection. Understanding how images work with Avada is important, so for more information on this, check out the How Background Images Work in Avada and the Image Format and Size Guide docs, both linked below. The next option allows you to adjust the background positioning of the images, and depending on the aspect ratio of your images, you may want to adjust this. It's probably a good idea here to use images that are all the same size, But remember that a container's size is dictated by the content or padding or by setting a height option. So there's a lot of flexibility here. There are several more options on this tab, but even with the default options, we can see the container now acts as a slider. This is a very cool feature and replaces the need for a full slider in many situations. Skip lazy loading is the next option, and this should be set to yes if your container is above the fold on load. Loop is on by default, so the animation rotates through your images, but you can set it to no if you prefer. And if you want, you can also set pause on hover to yes. I'm going to leave both of these on default. The slideshow speed is 5 seconds by default, which I think is good here, but this can be anywhere from 100 milliseconds to 10 seconds. Then there are animation options. You can choose from 6 different transitions here: fade, slide, stack, zoom, slide zoom in, and slide zoom out. Fade is the default, and I think that suits this situation, but take a look at the others, as there are some cool effects here. Then there's animation speed. This controls the speed of the animation. Here the default is 800 milliseconds, which creates a nice transition. Finally, you can set a blend mode so the background images interact with the other background layers, just like single background images. Okay, that's the slider tab. Let's return to our other page and remove the background image and look at the next tab, video. As you can see from the options, you can upload a self-hosted video here, or add a video already on YouTube or Vimeo. There are 3 formats for full compatibility with self-hosted videos, but only the MP4 is required for cross-browser compatibility. I'll just add a video I have in the media library. As you can see here, video backgrounds will not show the full video unless the container is big enough. So the best videos for backgrounds are ones that don't need to fit precisely. You can of course adjust the size of the container to show more or less of the video, and again internal content will also affect the size of the container. I'll just remove this video and add a YouTube video as the background. Let's set the container height to full height to see some more of this video, and let's just preview this. Just note that if a YouTube video has ads in it, or overlays etc., they will also show up on the screen. As far as other overlays go, you probably wouldn't normally use an overlay on a background video, but you can add a color with some transparency as a color overlay, and you can also add a gradient color or colors on top of that. You can even add a pattern or a mask. It's not likely you'd want to do this, but the possibilities are there. Okay, let's just come back to the video background options. After the file format fields, there is a video aspect ratio option. As the description says, you can use this to maintain the aspect ratio of the video added, to prevent any black bars being shown. The default is 16:9, and so is my video. Loop video and mute video are both set to yes by default, as best befits a background video, but you can always change this to suit your needs. And the final option in this tab, video preview image, is only really needed as a fallback for self-hosted videos in older browsers that are not able to play the video, so this is generally not needed. Okay, the last 2 tabs are the pattern and mask tabs, and to use these we need some other background content for them to work with. I could use the video, but I'd prefer to demonstrate a more realistic example. So let's just reset this container a bit. I'll just remove this video, and I will again add an image background in here. Now let's go to the pattern tab. Here you can see there is a big range of patterns you can apply on the container. There's also a custom option if you want to upload your own pattern. That just needs to be in SVG format. I'll just apply one here. Under this we can see a variety of options to then customize the pattern. You can set the pattern color here, and so I will set this to color 1. You can also invert the pattern style, but I'm good with how this is. Then there is the pattern opacity. I'll just reduce this to 15. Then there is a pattern size option. This can use any CSS unit. Let's set this to 10%. Yeah, that looks interesting. Finally, there is a pattern blend mode, which changes the way the pattern interacts with the layers below. As you can see from this example, there are basically unlimited ways you can use these options. The final background tab is the mask tab, and this has similar options to the pattern tab. A mask is intended to mask part of the container, revealing only some of it, and so it needs a background color or image for it to work. I'll just add one on top of my other backgrounds. The first option we see then is mask color. I'll just set this to color 6. Then we can invert the mask if we wish. We can also adjust the opacity of the mask, and we can also flip the mask vertically or horizontally. I might invert it, leave the opacity on 100, and then flip it vertically. And then of course there's the blend mode again if you want to get even more adventurous. And don't forget the column element itself has the options of background color, gradient, image, and slider. The column element doesn't support video backgrounds or patterns or masks. But in any case, I'm sure you can see a million possibilities with these new background options for containers and columns. And that's without even adding any content elements. Such a cornucopia of choice. Okay, that's the background tab, found on containers and column elements. Also, make sure you check out our other video on the filter options found in the Extras tab on both containers and columns. There is a range of filters which can be used to apply a number of color effects on containers or columns there. I have added a link below the video. Okay, this concludes our video on how to use the container and column background options. Thanks for staying with me. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with all the latest videos. And if you have any questions or need assistance, please create a support ticket and our team will gladly assist you. As always, we want to thank you for choosing Avada.